swagger. Keep your swagger.
Welcome to the 5-Hole Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I'm your host Alan, and dang, did I leave a lot of points on my bench yesterday? But we are here with the week preview, the script preview ahead of the week, teams and streams with targeting, and news and updates from around the league. Now, this edition had a dedication in the front to Austin Matthews' agent, who, yes, I also agree the Department of Player Safety should be suspended. But yeah, before we get into the show, if you haven't already, Twitter, Discord, get in on them, get plugged in so that way you can get updated. Feel free to ask any lineup questions, especially as we get into do or die time. And then if you haven't already, subscribe to us on the YouTube channel here or wherever you get your podcast plugs. So first up, storylines here. This just happened an hour or two ago. Chris Knobloch came out today and said that Connor Ingram is their quote starter and will be played as such. Take that as you will. I have absolutely given up on Oilers goaltending. I think everyone else should too. But hey, if your waiver wire is that thin and you are truly desperate to come to the Oilers for help, well then Godspeed. So for 2 games now, and in the words of Emperor Palpatine, all as I have foreseen, Corey Perry has been on the top power play in Tampa. They have 4 games next week, but they're all on the busy days. So I'm not sure I'd rush out and go pick him up in like an 8-team, 10-team league, 12, maybe. But for essentially a 4th-line power play specialist, I'm not going to sound the alarm that this guy should be picked up. And then Radko Gudas, this is, I don't know, not quite part injury, but more storyline anyway. But Radko Gudas was suspended 5 games for the knee-on-knee hit to Austin Matthews. Was labeled as out for a little bit Friday night, at which point you could have put him in an IR spot, but now he is NA, which cannot be put into IR slots unless your league is, I think NA spots are more for Dynasty, unless you just have a very generous commissioner there. But on the flip side of that, moving on to injuries, Austin Matthews out the rest of the season with a grade 3 MCL tear and a quad contusion. So his leg messed up. In a redraft league, automatic drop. He's done. It hurts anyone. That was probably your first-round pick. It's very hard to replace that production, even if the Leafs were iffy this year. Keeper leagues, dynasty leagues, I mean, all you can really do is hold on, stash him. I don't think you could really get much in trade for him unless you're working with a team who's rebuilding going into next season. They might give you something for it. But JT Miller returned yesterday. Worth noting that the team was 4-1-0 without him. And then on the flip side there, Mark Stone returned on Thursday to Vegas, and his team was 1-5-0 without him. Say what you will about those 2 players. Clearly being on the ice makes a difference there. But Panthers, quite a few updates here. Carter Verhaeghe and Anton Liddell should be back in today. Sam Reinhart will not be accompanying the team on their road trip, which this also hurts because for some of you, this might have been like a late 1st, early 2nd round pick for you. Rules him out for all week because they are on the road here for week 21. Their next home game is on 24th. So hopefully either your playoffs start that week or, do you have a bye and you're not worried about it. But Sam Bennett day to day, and then Seth Jones is likely to return on this coming road trip. Which means Ekblad is pretty much worthless at that point. Seth Jones, back on power, I'm sure back on power play 1 for what that'll be worth with a lot of these guys kind of coming in and out of the lineup. Tinfoil might be trying to tank for that top 10 pick, but we'll see. So schedule breakdown for the week. So of note, Sunday is considered a busy day with 9 games this week, but you may still be able to fit players in. But Monday they have, Monday, Wednesday, Friday are your off days. Monday you got 5 games, Wednesday 6, Friday 5. And then on our busy days here, Tuesday is also a 9-game day. So that'd be, worth looking into as you set your rosters. Thursday and Saturday both have 11 games. Best schedules, though, as far as games played go, 17 teams have 4 games this week. So it sounds like we probably got some good teams to stream from here. Off nights leaders, Calgary and Colorado lead the pack, 4 games. 3 of them are on off nights, but they both play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. So on a typical week, that would have been the perfect stream. New Jersey, I think, is also worth mentioning. They have 3 games on the true off days this week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. For what streams you can get from them. They don't, in my opinion, they don't have like a really good selection of guys to choose from there. But easiest schedules, the schedules I'm liking because they face some good opponents, or good schedules, weak opponents. Tampa, no off days here, but they do play Seattle, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary on a West Coast road trip. The Rangers, LA, New Jersey, Columbus, Winnipeg, and then Buffalo, who's again Winnebago right now. Vegas, San Jose, LA, Anaheim. And now for worse schedules, like we said, we were sounding the horn about last week. St. Louis, 2 games, 1 off night. So it makes it a very tricky proposition to hold some of those top line guys in St. Louis who have just been on fuego the last couple weeks. But hard schedules, Calgary, but I mean, that's a low bar. They see Detroit, St. Louis, Florida, Tampa this week. Dallas, Utah, Colorado, Minnesota, Vegas, and then Pittsburgh, Colorado, Carolina, Winnipeg, and Carolina again. So the strategy for this week, I would say, set your week before making any pickups. You got to see what you need first. Like I said, these Sundays considered a heavy day, but Tuesday and Sunday, you might be able to fit in more than you think. But maximizing streams, few teams to choose from on the Monday, Wednesday that avoid Tuesday. You got Calgary, Colorado, Dallas, Jersey, the New York Rangers, and Pittsburgh. Now, New York Rangers maybe have an edge with the Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 games of 4 nights, and you could still drop them for a Friday, Sunday, since they don't play again until Sunday. Get an extra game at least out of that. A couple of teams with Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Utah and Chicago, but Chicago plays Minnesota, Colorado, and Nashville in that little stretch, so maybe not the priority pickup there on that team. But streams tier 1 here, I'm bucking the trend here, and I'm probably gonna stir some trouble here. But New York Rangers I have here first on team 1. They have some very winnable games this week, and somehow they're second in goals for per game at 4.22, behind Dallas who is at 4.33 since the Olympics. Is this sustainable? Probably not. But they're also operating the second best power play since the Olympics and have the highest team shooting percentage in that time too. So is this sustainable? Probably not, but you got to hope that it is sustainable this week for you. And then, like I said last week, Alex Lafreniere, 35%. This is probably last call. Went over this on the shutdown shift. Who knew trading Panarin was the key to him breaking out? Just go check on Will Cooley, line 2 power play 2. Maybe not so much for points, but nice category coverage there. And Gabe Perreault, line 1 power play 2. It looks like that is sticking even with the return of Miller. The line 1 part should stick, but I'm really hoping they keep Zibanejad and Perreault together. That line has been just insane. But yeah, Gabe Perreault, 9 points in 6 games. Only 2 of those are on the power play, which is good. You don't want to see a whole lot of points on power play, so hopefully some of this production keeps up at even strength at least. He has less than 100 games on him, so keep him on a tight leash. Still a rookie. You never know what these rookies are going to do. They could have 5 points one game, and then they're getting healthy scratch the next. But Gavrikov, he's also getting in on the hotness. I picked him up in a spot for myself. 1 goal and 2 assists yesterday, and then he has 6 points in the 8 games before that. If you need some category coverage, Ty Cartier, if you're chasing hits, he's got 25 hits in his last 8 games. Next up here, tier 1, I have Carolina. They're leading the league in shots 4 per game at 34.3. They're tied for 3rd in goals 4 at 4.11. And they have some great matchups. Columbus, Pittsburgh twice, Toronto. I would say just go check on Nikishin, 59%. He is power play 1. as long as Gus bears out. I don't think I've seen any updates about how long we could expect him to be out, other than just it's going to be a while longer than initially thought. And yes, Taylor Hall, 5% here, had an assist last night. And then he had 8 points in 8 games before that, but he doesn't even shoot two shots a game, which makes me nervous about any sort of sustainability for the week. I do personally, if I was going to stream from Carolina, I prefer Jackson Blake at 10%, who, while he didn't get anything last night, he also has 8 points in 8 games, and he's at least shooting more than 2 shots a game. And then Keandre Miller, 6 points in 6 games, and Sean Walker, 5 points in 6 games. Both cover categories for you. Dallas, and yes, I just said their schedule is tough, but they are leading the league in goals for per game since the Olympics, and they have a couple of nice streaming options with both Rupe Hintz and Miko Rantanen out. You can check on Duchesne, but at 65%, he is probably gone. Jamie Benn, 15%. I have him in a spot, line 2, power play 1. No points last night, but 7 points in 8 games before that. And he's also given you about 2 hits a game, try eligible. His shooting percentage is redlining, yes, but you hope that it continues to redline through this week for you. Maverick Bork, 12%. He has 8 points in 7 games. He is line 1 with Wyatt Johnson and Jason Robertson. He's shooting at that nice 3 shots per game clip. If you can fit Bork in for all the days, it might be worth going with him over Jamie Benn. Sam Steele, deep cut here, 1%. No points last night, but he has 8 and 8 before that with a crazy shooting percentage. And then if you need category coverage here, Lindell and Bichelle, as always. Lindell's giving you the blocks. Bichelle's giving you the hits. And then tier 2 here, man. I'm sure hot takes. Colorado. I wish I could put them in tier 1, but they just don't have a lot of streamable players, especially this time of year, as a lot of lineups are either, maybe they're inactive, they're out of contention, or just they've all been scooped up ahead of time because it's for various reasons. Just go check on Valerie Nichushkin, Brent Burns, even Josh Manson. Josh Manson's still giving me the riffs, but I don't think he's been in on as many of the points lately. Worth noting, Nick Waugh is deep cut. I think he was only like 1%, 5%, somewhere in that range owned, but he has 2 goals in his 5 games now since joining the Avs. But he was on line 2 yesterday with Nelson and Nichushkin. And I got to say, any of you, and I think we try to steer people this way, but for any of you who held on to Nazem Kadri through the trade deadline, holy cow, you're rewarded. Dude's line 1, power play 1 with McKinnon, and then, power play 1 of Makar. Good God. I mean, that's talk about a speculative hold there. But that's what you gamble on. So also worth noting, watch out for Ross Colton to come back. I believe he did see line 2 before missing games starting Thursday. He didn't come back yesterday. And then, yes, the other team with the best schedule here on tier 2, Calgary. I wish I could put them in tier 1, but they are tied for last in goals for per game since the Olympics at 2.3. The whole team should be available, though, is the good news. Not a lot of bright spots here on this team either. So their shooting percent is tied for last at 8.6%. But they're 24th, so bottom 4th of the league in shots for per game. So Blake Coleman, probably the go-to here, 23% owned, so 3 out of 4 leagues he's available. 4 points in his last 5. Line 1, power play 2, also giving you about 2 hits and a block a game. Zane Parekh, I don't know, this might be more of a dynasty hold than anything. 15%, so apparently he's getting scratched in favor of like a 5-forward power play 1, which I seem to be what was going on yesterday. That's a pass for me if he's getting scratched. I would rather, pick up some of these other guys, or if it's a defenseman that can get you the full stream schedule for the week. Yeah, again, elsewhere. But Mikhail Backlund, this is, he always seemed to be the bridesmaid, never the bride, but now he is line 1, power play 1, 3 points in his last 4. And then if you need category coverage, Adam Klapka, man, clapping bodies. If you need hits, he's got 45 hits in his last 9 games, so about 5 hits a game. And then last up on tier 2 here, I do think they're worth mentioning. So Pittsburgh, their matchups are tough, but a couple of nice pieces here. that should be useful going forward as Macklin or not Macklin, Malkin returns. Again, something I discussed with Hunter from Locked On Pens that just their schedule in March is a gauntlet. And to make matters worse, Mr. Corsi-san has pointed out that their Corsi differential is slipping into negative territory in the last half dozen game, which means that they're not controlling play as much. They're not shooting as much compared to the other team. Anthony Mantha, I think, is probably the guy to pick up here, 36%. He's the stud. Seen power play one for now, but it's either going to be him or Igor Chinikov that slots down when Malkin returns. He's got 6 points in his last 4. And then Igor Chinikov apparently ditching the Y in his first name is all Pittsburgh needed to unlock him. He's only 9%. He's got 7 points in his last 5. He has been playing with Raquel and Rust at even strength. I think when Malkin returns, they probably reunite that line with him, Malkin, and Novak at even strength. Dan Muse really likes that line. Plus, he's been shooting at least 3 shots a game, which, again, I like that as a specific measure of any kind of sustainability there. I'd say someone to keep an eye on, maybe not a pickup, but Ben Kindle, someone to keep an eye on as the line shuffle with the return of Malkin. I mean, maybe he moves up to line 1. I don't know what they do with Raquel and Rust if they reunite Malkin, Chinikov, and Novak. But yeah, before we get into goalies here, so Breadman asking, Seattle's only 3 games next week, but he can fit them all in. McMahon replaced McCann. Dude, yeah, Bobby McMahon finally debuted for the Seattle Kraken last night. What do you have? I think he had a goal and assist. He was on one of the power play units. Looks like he's getting some prime deployment there. Might be worth a pickup. I think he's also, I'm going to check this on the air, and it is going to be awkward. Let's see what he got last night. So he had 2 goals, 1 assist, 4 shots on goal. Wow. Okay. So yeah, one of those goals was the power play goal. That's what I thought I saw. And 4 hits too. So giving you some category coverage. But yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that pickup. Especially if you look at, like I said, set your lineup, see what you need, and you have, blind spots where you could still fit a streamer for all 4 games or even 3 games. But goalies, UPL, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, still available in about half of leagues. He's going to get you 2 starts this week. Elvis, only about 12% owned and sure to get 2 starts this week. He won against Tampa and lost in OT versus the Panthers, but both of those games, quality starts. And Columbus, also a little bit of a wagon, especially in that Metro division. Nedeljkovic, worth mentioning, only 9% owned, worth a pickup if Askarov continues to miss time. He had a 9.51 save percentage in the win against Boston and a 9.26 against Montreal yesterday. And then also worth mentioning, I thought we were done talking about this guy. He'd been banished back to the Shadow Realm, minors, whatever. Keep an eye on Jacob Fowler. He put up a 9.41 in that 3-2 game versus the Sens that included probably one of the goalie sequences of the season. Habs have only 3 games this coming week, so Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So probably not something to shake up your roster over. He is getting the start today, which means I don't think Montembeault got either of those 4 games they had this week. But yeah, so back to Breadman here. McMahon is not available, but the Dallas guys are. Yeah, I think Dallas is one of the teams to reach for this week. Absolutely. But yeah, don't have any more questions in the chat here. That was all I had. So again, another nice short show. I am looking at Wednesday. We'll have a guest on the show. I'm excited about the show. A little bit different, very relevant to this time of year. Drop McCann. Oh, okay. Sorry, before I wrap up here, yeah, he's asking if he should drop McCann. I have in the one spot I had him. And yeah, if McMahon is coming in hot before they get a few practices and kind of try to hone him in on the system there, I'd say, McMahon's worth picking up, especially if you can get him in all 3 games that week. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Good luck everyone this week. Hopefully you're all still in it. or you still have one more week to go, and this is the week you finally clinch that playoff spot, feel free to hit us up if you have any questions. But take care of yourselves and each other.
Adios, turd nuggets.